Hello, hello. Today, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing all right. What are we doing today? Today, I want to dive into something interesting. I want to, the usual TechCrunch, hacker news. What's going on? There's lots of stuff going on. Hacker news. I'm going to jump into that. I'm going to jump into TechCrunch news, tech news in general. I think the general tech kind of news cycle has kind of died down, and I think the steam from the whole AI hypes kind of has ended. It's finished up with pretty much, we're at this stage where we've investors, not we, but people, shareholders, investors have poured all this ton of money in, and we're kind of in a situation where I've got to prove the value, really. I hope this volume's all right. Yeah, we have to prove the value, and it doesn't look like there's that much happening. I mean, I actually had a comment recently with another friend of mine, and we were kind of laughing at some of the stuff that was generated, the video stuff that was generated. I've seen some of the video AI, and really anything that even comes close to reality is just like, yeah, okay, great, that's a video of something doing something. But the fun part, the value that I actually got was really laughing at all the stuff that it generated that looked weird. I got more entertainment value out of that than the actual content itself, and I think that says a lot. Same as the I guess the AI generated stuff that's the image-based AI generated stuff. Soon after all of that stuff came out, I was like, okay, that's some pretty cool stuff. But it's just like, does anybody remember the Mandelbrot set? We had the Mandelbrot set happening. Basically, what would happen is you'd use complex numbers to generate this, the point at which a number reaches a chaos value, I think. Something along those lines. It's use complex numbers, and you kind of go around on that space, and then there was some certain points which you would not get to infinity. That's right. You not chaotic values get into infinity. And the non-infinite values, you can keep zooming in based on the precision of your floating point number, and it would generate repeating patterns, these kind of repeating patterns that were slightly different, but they were never the same, no matter how far you go there. It was a little bit different. And that's great. It's a nice novelty, and people use it in certain situations to perform certain artistic things that you could do 3D fractal sets, and the whole idea of fractals and fractal maths is useful for a number of things. But really, it's more of a novelty and a niche kind of a research space. But I think the whole AI thing is also after I watched a documentary about slime molds, of all things, and slime molds being used in ways to kind of solve shortest path algorithms by doing this kind of searching the space on a petri dish between points, and kind of doing research on how we can simulate slime mold search and discover algorithms to build better transport networks. So, but look, artificial intelligence, AI algorithms could possibly help with that. But with Gen AI, I'm talking about generative AI. LLMs are, I guess, generative AI. Generative? No, they're large language models, not generative AI. But Gen AI is I haven't found much value in that. A lot of processing power goes into it, but more of a novelty. Definitely, if I saw a picture of somebody's work and I knew it was real, it would be very different to someone that said it was just generated by generative AI model. But anyway, let's dive into the news. Let's see what's happening. I think there's not really too much to go through, but why not? Let's go exploring and see what we got. What do we got here? Alrighty, let's dive in. I actually wanted to share you guys something to do with remote work. And this is Actel. This camera, this beast that you see here, is an incredible piece of engineering. Absolutely phenomenal. It is the Actel 9x7 digital cinema camera. It is a very very specific use case camera. But the point I'm getting to here is that I recently saw a recruiter post a job offer saying that that PwC wants to track their employees. And they do the remote work thing, but they need to know where you are, etc., etc. And I thought, I think you're really killing your pool of talent if you're going to force tracking on people. I would not work for a company like that. I would just go, no, that's it. If one of my clients said we need to track where you're going, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, everything's being done. Do you need what do you need this for? Why are you so insecure that you need to track my location? What is that? I would definitely just cut them off. Like, that's like stalker level, following where you are. So, and the reason I'm saying this is because these guys here who built this worked remotely to build it. They worked on site. There were some on site, some remote, but they didn't track where you worked. And they've built a fully remotely manageable camera, which you can, through the web, dive in and basically control every element of the camera remotely, right? So you can change the zoom, change the focus. You can change anything on the sensor that's related to its functionality remotely. You can debug it remotely. You can debug it. I think they also said they had like a satellite link on on one of these things where they had like a remote plane flying and they had a satellite link up so they could actually remotely debug in the air. And they said that worked great. I actually talked to the owner of this company. I was really, I'm really grateful to be able to talk to somebody who's invented this. His team has built this incredible piece of technology, and he's a really good guy, really easygoing, absolutely phenomenal. I am so impressed with this, and I think, if more people had this kind of attitude, then, the world would be a good place. So that's that. That's what I want to talk about. It's like remote work, even building this kind of physical, mechanical, mechanical thing, physical manufacture this and code this was done partially remotely, but with on-site. But there was no forced remote work for the team. The other one, obviously, is Telegram, Mastodon, these other companies. If you've got a person that is disciplined, that's got good listening skills, has good people skills, and they have the skills and knowledge and talent to code, and it's not hard. You get up in the morning, just be there, do the work. It's not that hard, really. Honestly, it's not that hard. You have to do the work. It doesn't matter where you do it. You can be on site in an office and slack off and not do any work, and you could be at home and do the same thing, or you could be at a collab space. If you don't do the work, nothing happens. So I don't think that necessarily forcing people to know where they are is going to make any difference. You're just going to scare away people that you're going to scare away the good talent that knows what they're doing. So back into it. Let's get into the news here. I'm going to start with Hacker News. Reclaim the stack. What is this? Reclaim the stack. Creating a Git commit the hard way. I don't know. Linux bedtime between Fennel programming language. Okay. Exploiting CI/CD pipelines. Interesting. I might check these two actually. Fennel programming language. What is this? A new Fennel. Fennel. What is that name? What is the name of that thing? Fennel seeds. That's right. Fennel. I know fennel seeds I've got this chemical in them that you shouldn't have too many. Fennel seeds pharmacology. So Wikipedia. Phoeniculum vulgar. No, that's not it. Fennel. Anyway, pharmacology. I'm sure it's got some kind of pharmacology. Antioxidant activity, phytochemicals, and fennel seeds. Yeah, all right. Let's just skip the pharmacology lesson today. Let's dive into the fennel language. That's what we're here for. Tech, right? Not pharmacology. If I should do another language called pharmacology. So I love pharmacology. Anyway, that's let's see. Fennel is a programming language that brings together simplicity, speed, and reach of Lua with the flexibility of a Lisp syntax and macro system. Look, honestly, I haven't really looked at Lisp in my life. Like I've used Lua. Lua is a nice, simple scripting language that I've used. We used it for Back in 2006, 2007, 2009, Lua was used as a scripting language for video games like Puzzle Quest, Puzzle Quest 2, Puzzle Quest, Infinite Interactive. All right, let's see. Infinite Interactive, here we go. Interactive is a video game developer with headquarters in St. Kilda. So these guys made a lot of games, and Puzzle Quest 2, Galactrix, Puzzle Quest Galactrix, I think these two, Galactrix, Neopets, Puzzle Adventure, Puzzle Kingdoms, I think all those use Lua as the scripting language. I actually squashed the Lua the interpreter into the Nintendo DS, so I got it down to enough size so that I could squeeze on a Nintendo DS, and so that we didn't have to rewrite all of the scripts for the Nintendo DS. So it's got full Lua compatibility, so it's basically easily call any Lua function library from Fennel, so it's an extension of Lua. Zero overhead, compiled code should just be just as efficient as handwritten Lua. So what is it? Anywhere you can run Lua code, you can run Fennel code. Video game dev, video managers, web service, databases, web browsers, cheap microcontrollers. I don't know if I'd use Lua to run on microcontrollers, but sample read the state of the keyboard and move the player accordingly. So it's just a different syntax to Lua, right? So it's basically Lua with a different syntax. I guess it's Lua. If it's Lua, then it's not with a different syntax. It's not Lua. So that's too much work. Fine, you can use Fennel right here without installing anything. So what is the point of this? Fennel is a programming language with the flexibility of a Lisp syntax. So what are the people saying about this? I've talked about it a few times when it comes up, but I love this language and I think it's incredible technical accomplishment. Lua is beloved, and I have a ton of respect for that project in itself. It's definitely one of the 7 wonders of the programming world. Interesting, I wonder why. But the well-considered compromises for intended use as an embedded scripting language. It's funny because it was an embedded scripting language, right? Because when I remember when I was building it for the Nintendo DS, I'm going to try and see if I can apply. I have to create an account. Yeah, just use a strong password for this. Create account. Yes, in 2007, it wasn't designed for embedded devices. Back then, let me tell you, it was one hell of a headache to chop it down to size. Yeah, was not sure if the market for Lua has changed since then. But still, it's a great language for scripting. Yeah, I don't know. Lua for embedded devices. I'm not sure. For folks who are curious, is it possible to use Fennel? It is possible to use Fennel with the Lua in Lua latex. Why Fennel? Okay, that's a good question. Why Fennel? Fennel. Look, because I don't know much about Lisp, I don't know if this one's for me. I would like to know why Fennel, right? Why Fennel? That's a question. I always see this when it comes up, but Fennel is very impressive as a language project. Lua is much beloved in my professional experience working with Fennel focuses on a small set of the worst Lua issues and addresses them without getting distracted or bogged down in language design extravagances or Lisp nerd semiotics. A decision to strictly adhere to Lua runtime semantics was initially repulsive to me. I think Fennel and Janet went separate ways fairly early on. Okay, really? Okay. I moved my NeoVim config to fennel and haven't looked back. Okay. Look, I'm a fan of Vim, although I have to say honestly, I just because I'm doing so much app stuff, I haven't used it very much. Vim is not an OS. I mean, it's just Vim is not an OS; it's a lifestyle. Vim is a way of being. It really is, isn't it? It's not an OS. It's like you have. It's just a mindset. Like the rest. Okay, so that's enough of fennel. If you're interested in Lisp and the use case for it, I guess, is doing certain things that you can't do in Lua. I'm not sure exactly what and why you would use it. Now I like Lua, and I think single pass is the way to go for interpreter, since you don't have to disadvantage with a slow compile time, no matter how big your code base gets. But it's not great to write, and some things are apparently not possible, which means the only solution is to transpile into it, which has led to some good languages like MoonScript. And the dynamic nature is a boon as your code base grows, which has led to Teal, which offers static type checking. Okay, maybe that's one of the things. Like, yeah, Lua doesn't have static type checking. It's got like, it's all dynamic types, and you can get into a bit of trouble if you're I mean, you put rules around your scripting language to prevent things going wrong during runtime. I mean, this is one thing, right? If you had a type issue on Lua in a video game that was running on a Nintendo DS, I'm telling you right now, debugging that is not fun, because you don't have a debugger. There's no debuggers for the Nintendo systems at that time. So what you do is you have to make sure it works on the PC first, and then debug it after that. Da, da, da. So, all right. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, looking good so far with the connectivity. I hope my internet doesn't drop out like it does and sometimes at this time. I'm not exactly sure what the use case is. I'm going to skip this because I don't see it being that useful. And Lua as a language for embedded devices, like you got C, you got, Zig these days. Yeah, all right, let's skip that. Time to go. Oh, actually, why did I close that? Hacker News. Hacker News. Okay, here we go. Reclaim the Stat80 proto for distributed Linux bedtime. Creating a Git. Exploiting CI/CD for fun of profit. Okay, what is this? Exploiting CI/CD pipelines. So I guess this is when you can actually take a CI/CD pipeline to do some work. Today's world of fast-paced development and continuous integration, security vulnerabilities can be easy to overlook. Recently, I discovered a severe exploit chain starting from a publicly exposed .git directory, which led to a full server takeover. This blog will walk through the chain of events, outlining how each weak point compounded the issue. A surprising number of websites still expose the .git directories to the public. When scanning for such exposures on a target, I noticed the .git folder was publicly accessible. This is a serious vulnerability because .git stores the entire version history of a project, including configuration files, which might contain sensitive information. Oh, so I guess you could possibly have like a password? Surely. URL, yeah, look at that, yeah. My secret username, and then you got da-da-da-da-da-da. Git contains information which should never be impact with access.git config. I found credentials. Whoa, okay, credentials, big no-no. So, moral of the story straight away, pretty easy. What we have here is don't expose. Make sure you hide your .git directory. And yeah. Hello. Hey. Hello, Aaron. How do you resolve burnouts? I feel like there's no progress. Oh man, yeah, burnout. Oh, I did a burnout. I did a few burnouts in my car, but no burnout. I think the biggest burnout I had was back in... No, actually, no. I had a few burnouts. I think, the biggest one was in 2008, but it had nothing to do with tech. I think I quit like doing software development for a year and decided to do events business, and then just went way in over my head and lost, $1 million. It was nuts. That was bad. And completely underestimated the amount of work. But with tech, burnout was really mostly just lack of self-discipline to look after yourself first. Solution's simple. Look after number one first. And by number one, I mean you, and I mean your health and your well-being. Without that, it doesn't matter. Like no one is going to get healthy for you. No one is going to eat well for you, and no one is going to exercise for you. But you're going to work for a business that wants you to put in an effort, and that effort needs to come from a balanced life. You can go out and have a good time, but if you're not looking after yourself, you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, you're just working too hard, you're stressed. Like, you got to step away. You're not going to get anything done if that's the case. Like, you just go for a run. My I guess schedule. I get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I get up, I have like a coffee pre-workout drink, and then I go for a run and go to the gym. Run 3Ks to the gym, stay there for about 45 minutes, and then 3K back. And that sets me up for the whole day. I clear out all my anxiety. I've got a clear head, focused. I don't do that every day. I do it on off days now. I used to do it every day. But for burnout, you really have to look after your health first. Yeah. So I really hope you're doing all right, and look after yourself. All right. First. And I mean by health, I mean, physical and mental health. So if and mental health is like, emotional health too, having people to talk to. That's one thing that, it's hard to do when you're working when you're working remotely. You need contact with people. So I actually make the effort to actually get in contact with people. I actually had an old friend come over yesterday, and we had a nice chat. So that was good. It was good to just talk. Yeah, absolutely. Just look after your health physically. Go for a walk. The rest will follow. The rest will happen. All the success, all the awesome stuff will happen if you just start with that good foundation. And you don't need. And the funny thing is it's for free. Like, you don't pay for this. You don't pay to eat well. Like, it actually costs less to eat broccoli and bananas and fruit than it is to go and get processed foods. And then physical health, going for walks and going for runs doesn't cost you anything. Like, you don't even need to pay to go to the gym. If you can, once you start getting into the habit of doing sports, but you don't need to start. You don't need to pay to start. Obviously, gym memberships, things like that, do cost money, but it's an investment that will take you all the way. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. That's enough. Look, all right. So next, we were just looking at not to expose .git. All right. Don't expose your .git folder because it will possibly cause exposing credentials. Okay, don't expose credentials. Don't expose .git because you could indirectly expose credentials. All right, so that's that one. Now, sleep duration, HDMX. Oh, just one other thing on burnout. It's like one of the times I burned out was because I wasn't sleeping well on weekends. I would go out and party on, and then I would try to catch up on work, and I hadn't slept enough. So ever since that time, I've really made a point of always getting enough sleep, like 7 hours minimum every day, without fail. Okay, what else have we got here? 16th century Irish hipsters. What is this? I don't know if this is tech news, but Alpha X4 open research discussion on top of AR X4. What is this? Interesting. alpha. Open research discussion directly on top of ARX4. What is it? What is this? Is a Stanford project. Add to Chrome. What is it? What is this? Who are we? We are a group of students advocating for accessible, high-quality academic discussion. All right. So what this is, I think what they're saying is you've got research paper access and you can talk about the research papers. Yeah, I was actually doing mobile development before iOS and Android. So the first mobile, the first mobile I worked on was Nokia. You might have heard of this N-Gage. And the first games that I worked on were on this thing. I was working for Nokia, and we were going to build this game, which was like a Rubik's Cube in virtual reality. That was a bit of a disaster project. Look, I mean, I jumped off it eventually to jump back on like a car racing game. I was working on this. We worked as a team. Like, there was a few games that we worked on, and I was going to lead one project that never got off the ground. This is back in 2004. So this is long before iOS and Android. And it was just basically you would write games in C. It was just running on ARM. It's like C, C++. You just had ARM. Like, I mean, ARM compilers, C-ARM compilers have been around for decades. So it's nothing new. Running on Symbian OS, but you weren't doing any OS stuff. It was just a game. So basically, once you had the basic handling of different parts of the phone, right? Handling calls, all this kind of stuff, handling input. That was it. Like, then you work on the game. But yeah, it was meant to go up against the Nintendo DS, Nintendo Advanced Game Boy Advanced, and I have to say Game Boy Advanced it was just so much better. I think the screen was much smaller here. They tried, but unfortunately, no, it didn't work out. And then you had the iPhone. After that, I think this one was discontinued 2006, and then the iPhone was sold 2000, and the iPhone was released 2007, I think. iPhone, or was it 2000? Yeah, 2005. iPhone first release. Can't believe I don't know exactly when 2007 on January. So it was just start. I think Nokia kind of saw the writing on the wall and said, yeah, iPhone's going to kill it. And at least they were smart, not like Microsoft, who just kept on pretending like there wasn't anything. It's so funny, like, somebody said it was like the first year of sales of iPhone 7 were, I think, 1 million, and now it's like 1 million units sold every 2 days. So there you go. Since the release. So anyway, yeah, Nokia games. That was the first mobile platform that I worked on. I actually like research. Let's search for a paper. Let's search for the 5-HT2B receptor. See if this happens. No matches found. I don't know what ARXIV. No, it doesn't work. What? Search for a paper. AI. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Oh, there's not that many really. It's strange. I'm not really even sure what this is, but it looks like a Stanford research papers. Yeah, I don't know. Alrighty. No, definitely not master of all trades. There are some really amazing engineers out there. I think what you can do is you can become a master of a trade during the time that you work on that thing that you're working on. And so if you invest time into something, you're going to learn about it, but you're going to fall behind on other stuff. So, things are constantly evolving. And, one of the things that's happened recently is Swift 6. Swift 6 is a big change. It enforces a lot of things. Swift 6. What's new in Swift 6 hacking? It's when fully enabled, it's likely to require changes to pretty much every project. So Swift 6, I tried to dive into this and it wasn't nice. It wasn't fun. I remember for every single transition of Swift, I had fun. From Swift 1 to Swift 5.10, I had fun with Swift. When Swift 6 came along, I'm like, this just isn't fun anymore. I don't see any benefit to the things that they're doing here, and it's just making my life more difficult, making it more difficult to read. And I already had problems with Swift. But there are people which are diving into this headlong and are understanding it and are really diving into it. So, you know, I mean, my projects that I've got on Swift, none of them are going to be updated to Swift 6 because we don't see a point, see a benefit. Yeah, I don't actually. Yeah, AI. I think ARXV, the platform they had on top of ARXV is a platform to be able to discuss their papers. So it's just basically attaching chat logs to points in the papers that people want to discuss. It's like open source discussion about the research. So I think that's what it is. That's what the Alpha XIV. Yeah, X4, Alpha X15, 14, Alpha 14. So it's just open research discussion. Yeah, that's it. So you got papers and then you can discuss them, and this is the tool to do it. I haven't really used this for research papers. So normally I just go PubMed, like not PubMed, but like the public search. And where I need to buy a paper, I just buy it because I don't really buy that many papers. All right, JD. Okay, what do we got next? Okay, we got through this, and let's jump onto our Tech Crunch. All the pop news on tech right here. All the top pop news. Let's start with it. Meta Llama, everything you need to know about the open generative AI model. You know, TechCrunch is more like a place for companies to advertise what they're doing, maybe. I mean, like these Kyle. Let's see what they're doing. Meta Llama, everything you need to know about the open generative AI model. Like every big tech company these days, Meta has its own flagship generative AI model called Llama. Llama is somewhat unique. Yeah, they're all unique, right? Among major models in that it's open, meaning developers can download and use it however they please with certain limitations. So it's not completely open. That's in contrast to models like Anthropic's Claude, OpenAI's 4GPT-O, which powers GPT-2, ChatGPT, and Google's Gemini, which can only be accessed via APIs. I mean, look, well, yeah, sure, well, maybe people would find a use for it. I mean, I use ChatGPT to just help me with certain questions. Just it's like a little point in the information space where I'll ask it something, and then I won't take anything it says for granted, and then I'll dive a little bit deeper. I fell into the trap of trusting ChatGPT, and I got burnt. So I don't trust anything it says because you never know when it gets stuff wrong, and you never know when it's going to hallucinate. So you kind of take it with a grain of salt, but it just helps you guide your thought processes in certain ways that can be useful when you're working on something that you're not 100% clear on. So what does this do? Well, small models, okay, so distilled version. So what are they doing? What are we doing with Llama? All the Llama models have 120,000 token context windows, like fantastic. So is it just, what can Llama do? That's what I want to know. Like other generative AI models, but is it a generative AI? I mean, it's a large language model. I guess, okay, large generative language model. Like other generative AI models, Llama can perform a range of different assistive tasks like coding and answering basic math questions, as well as summarizing documents in 8 languages. So it's document summary, but okay. All right, yeah, I guess if you want to summarize documents, document summaries. But you might see, this is the other thing, is like if you're using large language models to summarize your documents, what happens if you miss a really critical part of it? And that was like a YouTube video where a guy was trying to embed a message in an email that then was summarized by a model. And the model did not spot the emphasis. Like basically he wrote a letter and then emphasized certain things in bold. And the things in bold said, it's basically emphasized that he is in danger and he needs help. It's like a coded message, right? And the model, when it tried to do the summary, it just missed those things. It missed the emphasis. And so but a human would just spot it straight away because because that's what humans do. They can analyze things on different levels, I guess. How would I explain that? It's just, the large language models work on text. like work on its tokens. So they don't sense the context based on maybe formatting. Maybe if you, so it'd be interesting to see what you train it on. All the latest, yeah. So you can summarize documents, but again, what if you miss a piece of critical information that may be a side note? It's not really, yeah. I mean, I guess maybe not. They're not going to be, if you, maybe these don't miss the critical information in the summaries. I haven't really tried it. All the latest Llama models can be configured to leverage third-party apps, tools, and APIs to complete tasks. All right, so you could obviously do something like maths and search related queries, science related queries, Python, interpretive validating code. Maybe. I mean, look, but whether they can be reliably used. In addition, Meta says the Llama 3.1 models can use certain tools they haven't seen before, but whether they can reliably use these tools is another matter. Yeah, they can they use certain tools they haven't seen. How? I'd like to know which tools they're saying. Yeah, like, yeah, ChatGPT is just, I mean, all the language models, they're not they're not reliable, and that's Skutkarvar, I think that's his name. The original scientist said that that's the most fundamental part of it, is to have reliability in your model. So, yeah, I mean, if you don't have reliability, what do you have? Where can I use Llama? All right, so I think that's it for that. I mean, it's just another AI model. That's it. It's just another model. Let's see if there's anything else here. Bending Spoons plans to lay off 70% of WeTransfer staff after acquisition. Whoa, WeTransfer. WeTransfer was a great tool, or is a great tool. WeTransfer. I've used it a lot. Large files. Wonder why they're laying off so many people. WeTransfer. Nice. I guess 75%. Pricing, features. I've used WeTransfer. It's a good tool. So why did Bending Spoons, Italy-based app company Bending Spoons, which owns Evernote and Meetup, is planning to lay 75% of the staff of file transfer service WeTransfer. I guess, look, if you got sales staff, if you got HR staff, if you got like admin staff, the people that haven't built their product, you don't need them because you've got your own processes in your own business. So why would you need to keep someone else on? The company confirmed the plans for WeTransfer layoff. TechCrunch, the staff that is being let go will be informed after Bending Spoon goes through the local regulations in different countries regarding layoffs. Dutch media reported that. Okay, so they'll be left probably with about 100 employees. 100, most of them are technical. I expect. Like, why would you keep operational staff there when you've got your own operational staff that can just integrate the product into their own product line? Since acquisition. Okay, right, fair enough. WeTransfer will be merged. Elon Musk says Tesla has no need to license XAI models. I don't. Tesla. Who cares about Tesla anymore, really? I don't know. I'm just so over the whole Tesla thing. It just seems so much. Yeah. X and Tesla. It's like just too much. Too much. Oh yeah, the whole Apple launch. Right, what are we talking about? We got Apple coming up. We got Apple launch today. That's not yet today, but we have a Apple event. And we have our lovely Apple event happening. Glow time. Very interested. This will be happening when? Apple.com. Apple developer. Around my time, it'll be Apple event at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is, I think it's 3 a.m. my time. 3 a.m. tonight. Adding a new event to my work calendar. All right. Whoa. I hate it when it does that. All right. View recent Apple events. We got this one here, WWDC June 10th, and we got this one, Apple event. So we'll be releasing the new phone. I'm not getting this year's phone. I'm going to wait till next year, and I'll also be waiting next year to get an update on the Mac. Just, yeah, not the right time right now to get a new phone and Mac. All right, go to Australia. Okay, here we go. Yeah, 3 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So 3 a.m. news. Would it be interesting? You know, I guess, yeah. Look, the world keeps going. There will be better interactivity with applications. You'll be able to talk to more apps. One of the things that I want to do is to push the apps that I'm working with to actually have the intent functions to be able to communicate with via voice. So you can do things. So yeah. What else we have here? Venture European AVC Atomico closes 1.24 billion across 2 funds for early and growth stage startups. Try guys. Apple Intelligence delays could impede iPhone. Yeah, look, I don't really Apple Intelligence. I think they want to get it right, but this is the thing. Like most of the other players, they know that they haven't got it right yet, and it's a mess. And Apple are going, oh shit, this stuff is all a mess. It's not really working that well. It's not really there's not much cool stuff. I mean, it does stuff, but it's not really that useful. So maybe they're trying to find better models that are just they want to beat the competition. They want to get better at doing the AI thing. So who knows? Who knows why it's being delayed? Only they know. But there's no point in assuming what's going on here. La French tech gears up to go in a new direction. La French tech, interesting. We've done that one. Metalama, we done that one. Yep. Synapse thermal battery uses a chemical found in salt and vinegar potato chip. You know, they say this like as if it's easy, you know, and I mean, it says two things, right? Like, it says a lot about what this is that you're putting in your mouth and body as something that is going to be used as a battery. I don't know if that is necessarily a good thing. I don't, you know, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say. But again, look, you put salt. Salt is a sodium ion battery, so I don't know. But the stuff they put in vinegar potato chips, I can only imagine the chemicals that go on this stuff. I remember there was like a video on this food that they don't even want to call it food anymore because it's just not. It's just there to keep you buying and eating it. All right, what is this? We've got the coolest startup in the Bay Area is a baseball team called Oakland Ballers. Pretty cool. Interesting. Oh, why not? Sport. It's very US related. Do we have Startup Daily? This is Australian startup stuff. So I'm in Australia, so this is Australian startup. Why Meta's plan to keep kids safe online is a missed chance for collaboration among tech giants. Yeah, look, far out. I would not let any kid on X. That's one thing. I would never let any of my kids touch the X site. I don't know if you have ever been on X. I just like sometimes I have to just turn it off. I accidentally went onto a site that had I went to a page on X that had to do with the whole thing that's happening in the Middle East, and some of the things that they were showing, like I don't know, it's really inappropriate to have any of that not be marked as not safe for work. It was just unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, fortunately, yeah, even Insta, like I don't think Instagram is a good thing. I mean, you can share, like if you're in a small bubble that you share things with people. I don't know, but there's so many people that are just exploitative, and you get caught up in that spider web. It can get you, like, honestly. Yeah, it's bad. But look, let's jump on the good stuff, right? Let's see what, social media I don't think is necessarily a net good. I think you can communicate with people via groups, like Mastodon. I think has probably got a better idea, or where you can have a group of people that share a similar interest. Forums, like it's just like a forum process. You have your own server. I might even do that for this. I might do like Discord. Discord's another good one if you're interested in a particular brand. Discord's a good way to communicate. But the kind of like open-ended Insta Facebook thing is, I think it's finished. Like Facebook is really a dead pretty much a dead platform. Like the daily active users. Actually, let's check that out. Let's check out Facebook daily active users. Let's look at Statista. They always go. No, come on, you serious? It's Q3 daily active users. I don't believe that. That's got to be bots, man. I don't believe that. I don't know anyone that jumps onto Facebook daily. Really? I really don't believe that. Monthly active users. So why is this? Yeah, this is leveled off. Yeah, there it goes. Like there was this one. Facebook daily active users falls. Right? I mean, yeah, I mean, I haven't even touched it. I don't even... Anyway, whatever. Like 3 billion users, that's just ridiculous. The amount of... Like when I was doing marketing in 2009 and 10, we created hundreds of accounts. Like before they had those controls, what we'd do is just like we create 100 accounts, and then we just use those accounts to like posts, to just to just make it look like some things were more popular. It was just a thing we did for marketing at the time. And you know, after that we stopped doing it because it didn't really work that well. Or yeah, we just stopped doing that after I think 2013, 14. Was it 2009? Where did we start? Yeah, about 2009, I think, or 10 was around then we started doing it. But still, I can't imagine that this is like a real number of users, monthly active users, 3 billion monthly active users. Like that's just... In my entire group of people that I know, there's not one person that uses Facebook. Like, unless they say Facebook includes, say, Instagram. Like I jump on Instagram every so often. Hello, happy Sunday night. I'm just wrapping up actually. Thank you very much. It's been a good morning. It's midday now. So thanks for joining in. I'm actually doing, I've changed the streams now. The streams will be on Monday today, and they'll be on Wednesday. So thanks guys for checking it out. Good to see you. Like looking at Facebook number of monthly active users, basically, I don't know how they have 3 billion monthly active users. Okay, so is it Facebook or is it Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc., etc.? You know, I'm not sure, but 3 billion just on Facebook sounds a bit rich. Especially like out of 3, I don't know anyone that uses Facebook itself. All right, so we got Apple coming up, and what else? Let's have a quick browse through Australian news here. Battery storage startup charges up to 17.5 million. Series A. So much talking, so little doing. Start made boss calls out inaction on backing women in tech. So I think, okay, yeah, they're talking about Facebook came from this, keeping kids safe. How Australia's new AI guardrails. How startups can build an AI roadmap for success. Come on, guys, you gotta have more than AI. How Australia's new AI guardrails can clean up artificial intelligence safety. Like, I mean, I don't know. All my clients just don't even... I've already forgotten about AI, to be honest. Except for, I think, one guy I've talked to was doing like videos for Gen AI videos, and I was having a laugh at them and saying the only value I'm getting out of these videos is the fact that they do weird things. That's yeah. If they made a real video, like I wouldn't really be that interested to watch it because I know that it was all generated by AI, and so it just doesn't have. I wouldn't connect with the actors. I wouldn't connect with the script because I know that it's just not human generated. Like. Yeah, okay, AI CEO. I don't get it. Do you guys get it? Can you please tell me, do you get this whole AI push? I can see why it's useful as a reference manual lookup thing. But anything else, like, what is it meant to solve? Like, there's no way it's... look, I keep saying it's like 5 billion years of genetic growth and evolution and competition. You're not gonna do that overnight. And even yeah, I mean, like, there's so much complexity in organisms, like that are very simple, like even mycelium, slime, most very the simplest kinds of organisms, and we have trouble understanding it as like even. I think in a certain way we have trouble understanding humanity as a whole and what's going on with the way and why we do certain things, but that's beyond, like, creating any kind of general intelligence, in my opinion, is yeah, if it's possible, the amount of energy we'll need to do it with the existing technology that we have is, I think, beyond what we're going to do anytime soon. But look, back 100 years ago in 1920, robots were meant to take over the world back then too. Nothing here that I'm really interested in, guys. All right. Yeah. All right. That's it for today. I'm gonna catch you all, not tomorrow, but the day after. I'll just sit down, do some coding. Not sure what I'll code. Maybe do some. Maybe try to put together a linked list in Zig or Go, one of the two. So thank you very much. And I will see you then. Okay, we got here. Have you used stream processing like Kafka? I have used Kafka a long time ago. Don't know much about it, to be honest. Don't remember exactly what it does. Kafka. I know we did use it. Kafka, Apache Kafka, right? Is that it? Apache Kafka, scalable, high-performance, fault-tolerant platform for data pipelines, streaming analytics, and mission-critical applications. Event streaming platform. Okay, so this is like a MQTT type protocol thing, but like at scale, right? Is it maybe MQTT sort of thing? Above is a snapshot of the number of yeah. What is it? Powered by Apache. Use cases, messaging. Okay, yeah. So it's a multi. It's like a Erlang does a similar thing, right? Erlang language, or is it Elixir? Yeah, Elixir programming language. Functional concurrent. Yeah, I think it was Elixir that does it. That same thing. Elixir. Which is used to implement the Erlang language. It runs a Beam virtual machine. Elixir is a functional, concurrent, high-level general-purpose programming language that runs on the Beam virtual machine, which is also used to implement the Erlang programming language. Okay, so it builds on top of Erlang, but that's the kind of thing like multi-thread. This is functional though, so it's a bit different, not messaging so much. Oh, you got ActiveMQ, message queue. So yeah, you got MQTT. Yeah. So you use Kafka for something like MQTT. It's manage your IoT devices using MQTT, Apache ActiveMQ. So you can build an MQTT with Kafka, I think. In this domain, Kafka is comparable to traditional messaging systems. Cool, yeah, okay. I haven't used Kafka myself recently, yeah. All right, guys, thank you very much. Good to see you. Really nice seeing you. I did release a video this morning also. So if you're interested, check it out. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of days. Bye.